Right, I've started. So this is Miles.
Okay, girls and boys, what we're doing here is we're doing some adjustments of a single picture and isolating the individual bits from this so we can talk about it. But the reason why I've asked Kathy to actually start recording is that these are triggering already. I've been working at this for about an hour and a half. Now, the context of these is these are white tiles, right? And at Sky Television in June 2009, as a little bit of a thing that they do in the happy slappy psychology world of let's play a game in public and plain sight, some sons of bitches at Sky Television thought, let's get happy art. Okay, let's do a little bit of happy art. Now the point about it is, for a long time at Sky Television, I was tracking some really nasty shit going on at psychic and thought perception levels. Now what's happening here is, this is a random sample of white bathroom tiles which people were asked just to paint whatever comes into their head. The point about this is there's a common theme here, and it's really, really, really seriously bad news. Somebody is playing a very nasty game here. Now what these things are indications of what's in people's psyche. They're seeing entities, interdimensional entities, entering into our space. There's a common theme here. Now what I'm going to do is, I'll explain this directly, but what I want to do is just get on with the cropping. I've done quite a few of these things. Now these were taken on my little HTC phone. Where the hell is it? Like everything else, where the hell do you need to prop it in here? Is this going to be one of your right takes? Right. Now this is this was taken using this phone. The problem about this phone is that it only has about it's a very low res camera on this, about a megapixel. So the problem is I'm blowing these up, and so that I can print them out. And what's happening is that they're triggering because there's a common thread here. Now that one of the most the wind has just said hello. That's important because something's saying hello.
Yeah.
It means that somebody is infusing at the perception level. Okay. It's infusing at the perception level, and the door's closing. Hello, thank you. And this is propagating through the broadcast system at Sky Television. Now the point about this is not just about Sky Television. The BBC has been intricate in this since its creation, because we lost World War II. The BBC was taken over by the Nazis and the satanic cultists. And its design was to keep the population docile, don't ask too many questions, and just continue. Now these entities parasite into the human psyche, and what we're looking at here are portals, things coming through with eyes and lots of tentacles. And one of the types of creatures coming through is a large octopus type thing. In other words, dealing with things with lots of tentacles and smiley faces, big eyes, teeth. So we got the smiley face, we got the pussy cat, we got the things with big things, lots of tentacles. And I thought I would actually second guess and play the game, but I still played it. What I wanted to deliberately do was to put a sample in here which would have Kiss FM, not Kiss FM on it, but Radio Caroline. We'll just finish this this adjustment. It's too blue and the image is very low level, so we're just trying to make that a little bit better. But I mean, we're really at the edge here. It's not really going to make the image any better, really. So what we're doing, we're just cropping this now. I did 2 sets of photographs. I took a photograph of a general set, and then I went in here and I mean, for instance, on this is again we've got the image of something coming through with the tentacles. These are the sun. This is the sun. Again, this is a smiley face with the tentacle, with the spiky stuff coming around. So somebody's. The reason why I've asked Kathy to actually record this is because I think that when these were on display, some bunch of Intel remote viewer types were having a bit of a laugh to see what they'd pick up. Now the other thing that we picked up here is my pirate station, Kiss FM 103.7, and we'll just pick up on this. The point about my pirate station, Kiss FM 103.7, is it was an ITS propagator, Intelligence Transfer Sequence Propagator, and the logo of Kiss FM was the kissing lips. And just to tell you that is the reality about the situation is, this is the logo for Kiss FM 103.7, and the ITS propagator handed off to transmit ITS through the Sky Television transmission system. It required a function, and that function was an enabler, and the enabler was Rupert Murdoch. He had the money to push to make it happen. Now what's happened is, on this random sample of images that people have just put down, they've picked up on this in what some people would call a sort of substrate or matmos, to use a term from the film Barbarella. And here we have Kiss FM, my radio station, which was a 1.2 megawatt FM pirate, which cracked Matrix, and the continued cracking of the Matrix was through Sky Television. And here it is, okay? Kiss FM 103.7, the kissing lips, and this is also in the logo where the 2 S's kiss. This is a graphics thing, you're kissing, the letters are kissing, and this is our logo. And there we have, again we'll do this, I'll give Kathy these images, and here we have the Kiss FM logo on the kissing lips of, so somebody in there possibly was sending me a signal to say hello. And because it's a JPEG file and it's only a few pixels, we're going to blow this up to about 400 just to give us a little bit more picture, but it's gonna be pretty blurred, you know. Anyway, so there's not too much more we can do with that. We're just going to just see if the adjustments, maybe it's going to help a little bit, because it's just a little bit, it's not going to really make any difference before we lose too much on this. But that's it. We'll print these out. But this is 2009, the summer, and I was investigating what was going on at Sky at a thought substrate level, and this is when the construction of their new interdimensional, or dimensionally non-stable in this reality, studio block was being made, and we were tracking that. And of course I was being tracked at the same time, so it was a case of how far could I go before mission termination, and that happened in December 2010 when I was fired. Oh God. But the people who were involved with that were already being tracked, and some of them have already gone. For those at Sky Television, that's why some of you have had mystery firings. And that's, of course, I predicted the whole thing at that time, where Murdoch would be in Parliament and all that. Murdoch was an initiator. He's been used, and now of course he's basically sidelined out. So the dark meanies are in there, doing what they can, but the Sky Source generator crew who are in there are also doing their job, and we'll not say too much more about that. I think we've taken about as much from this sample as we can, so let's see what the other one is on the group shots. And actually I may have been, just let's go back on that. But I think that's for now. We'll take a break on this and we'll just get through more of these.
Okay.
What's happening here? I'm not getting.
Okay, here we go.
This is, I believe this is evidence, this is symptom of Sky Television, of broadcasting system being absolutely under a reality management control. This is a dead giveaway in my opinion. This is a butterfly. Now Monarch mind control is blatant. You know, Monarch mind control, and this indicates this is a signature that within the mindset of staff at Sky Television and broadcasting in general, that they're under a Monarch mind control type of reality management within their consciousness. I actually think somebody's having a laugh here. This is so obvious to anybody who has got a any kind of an inkling about the consciousness of people. I think the personnel department of Sky Television were also having a laugh with some of their psychometric tests. They were actually trying to find people who could spot that this was going on and then get rid of them. And I knew that, and that's why I actually said, hey, this particular psychometric test, you're having a laugh. It actually involved a set of elliptical symbols which started to oscillate when you looked at them, and both me and a colleague of mine got headaches when we saw this particular test. So I actually think that they were actually having a laugh. On one level, if you knew what was going on or actually twigged what was going on, they were saying, you know, feck off. We're going to do this anyway. If you can find out, we're going to screw you. So this is an indication in 2013 that I thought it was necessary for me to actually put this stuff on the public domain, because I was speaking to an analyzer, a guy who is in who builds profiles up based on keyboard errors that you do when you type. They're able to do mind mapping based on keylogging. And the point about keylogging software is they're not looking at what you're saying. I mean, they can do that, but what they're looking at is when you make mistakes, and everybody will make mistakes. I learned how to type on a typewriter, so I'm a clunker. I'll clink and I'll hit the keyboard relatively aggressively. You can always tell a print journalist when he's in the newsroom, because he's bashing the typewriter like this.
Yeah.
Because you had to actually hit the keys really hard. Because if you're going to do what we call Gestetner copying, or you're going to copy through carbon paper, you really got to bash the damn typewriter keys like hell. And so you'll that's a little key. That's a example, a simple example of how you actually type on a typewriter, that you immediately can tell the difference between the software people who just go like this and the damn people going bang bang, you know. So immediately you can tell very simply that this guy's an older guy. He'll be used to working with older technology. I learned how to type on a big Remington typewriter because I was typing out the top 40s when I was at school, and I had to type through Gestetner because I'd run off the top 40 rundown, so that we would have a list of what was on the top 40. And the only way to do that in those days, before there was photocopiers, is using a thing called a wax. You had to type through a wax type thing called a Gestetner thing, and you'd run that off to on a machine which would print that, and I would print the top 40 when I was at school, which tells you, immediately gives you an age profile and a technology profile as to the user. So in the same way, the mistakes that you make on a keyboard using people will have, they'll make errors where they'll make errors with maybe 2 or 3 letters. They'll reverse them, or they won't, and that will immediately build a profile that somebody's got dyslexia. That will also immediately build a profile that you've got certain characteristics with your left and right hand and how you think with your left-right brain. That immediately puts you into a certain profile and a category. Also, depending on the content of what you're actually typing, it'll determine how you lay out your paragraphs, how you make your sentences long, short, and then how you correct that. So for instance, some people will go back and correct by simply hitting the reverse backspace key. Others will go and use the mouse and correct it and do autocorrect, or how often you do that. So that can all be used as a mechanism for building up a psychological profile of somebody based on how they use a typewriter. Now the point about this is that some of the individuals that I was speaking to about this in a particular location were familiar with the scuttlers. Now that is a huge alarm bell. Now the point about it is there's two reasons for that. A, you may be familiar with these tentacle creatures which are like this, or these tentacle creatures like this. Now this particular one here indicates jinn, because the jinn are known as things with many legs, and they come in through dimensions. Now the point about this is, this doesn't actually happen necessarily in reality. It happens within your consciousness domain. And the point about all this is, we're messing about with people's consciousness domain. We're messing about at a level of consciousness that they don't want you to achieve, i.e. you might find out what's going on. So you got one bunch of sons of bitches actually introducing this deliberately, and this is a test sample to see how many people have picked up on it, to see whether the experiment or whatever they're doing at Sky, and when I say Sky I equate BBC All Broadcasting. It's just, this is where this sample was taken. And then we have the creature with the big eye and a flying saucer behind it. We have the smiley face. Again, the smiley face is the same basic thing. There's the pussycat with the smiling face and the Monarch mind control symbol there. And then we got the hand symbol. And in that, you've got a mesmeric set of fractured reality algorithms. Okay? Now the point about that is, that's my interpretation of that, so that's already building my psychological profile. This is interesting because you got work, life. Somebody hasn't responded to the control. They have, you see, this is the point. You have the two eyes here. This is ridiculous. This is the two eyes that this is everywhere. You again got the pussycat with the two eyes like that, you got two eyes. You got the smiley face. You then got the tentacles. This is the tentacles. It depends which part of the parameter you're looking at as to where you're seeing this. So this is absolutely loaded with psychological triggers. So I'll just, and you've got the Simpsons there, but the Simpsons again, a lot of smiley faces, the spiky hair. So that's an indication the Simpsons is a mind control device. And then you've also got the satellite dish, which is of course Sky, and the happy person on Sky. Again, it's a smiley face. Again, it's a round object with things coming out of them like this. This is just an unfolding set of algorithms which are being transmitted. You then got the sun, and you've got the cloud, the star on that particular image there. But we'll go through this when we up-res and try to expand on some of these pictures, because the reason is I'm saying this is, A, it's triggering, loads of triggers on this. For instance, on this hand, this is the Amash symbol, which Joanne Summerscales came up with, and I use on the Basis project just to say hello. Have you paid the bill, Joanne? Answer, you haven't paid the bill, so I'm using the symbol. And that has the alien hand going through it, and that's again a tentacle going into the consciousness of our existence. Again, the ordinary TV set issue is again the round thing with the tentacles coming out of the top and the TV antenna. This is very important because the entity that I witnessed at the back of Unit 1 and Unit 2 at Sky had the two large tentacles going up. Now, the thing about this is when you encounter these types of creatures, the welcome sign is this, your compliance sign, and they use this in rock, the hand symbol in rock concerts. So everybody's been compliant to the Great Spider. You know? Okay, octopuses and spiders. And that's what the scuttler is. It's a spider, but it's a crab. It's a spider which behaves like a crab, and it infests information systems. So when you have a person who's analysing keyboard personalities and building up a mind map of what's going on, and he's familiar with scuttlers, it means he's encountered them while he's doing what they're doing, and crawling around our consciousness. We'll just get on with this and have a cup of coffee, and we'll get back to you after the break.